recap for the week June 24th to June 28th. Guyana, the fastest growing economy in the world. Guyana ready for DNA testing, and calls continue for house-to-house registration. Stay with us as we take a look at these and other major stories which made the headlines this week.
The future of Guyana has never looked better. Our nation is on the cusp of a development program like never seen before. While Guyana is now emerging as an energy giant through the discovery of massive reserves of oil and natural gas, it is your government's intention that the huge benefits emerging from this will go where it matters most, to you, the people of this beloved country. There is a surge of confidence in the way Guyana is governed once again, and the level of investor interest is unprecedented. Guyana is poised to become the breadbasket of the region, and the pace at which this nation will grow through prudent fiscal management will be nothing short of impressive. But more than anything else will be the way every Guyanese, regardless of color, class, or creed, becomes a part of this historic period of national transformation, sharing in the wealth and well-being of it all as one Guyana.
Guyana is listed as the fastest growing economy in the world. A NASDAQ report published on June 27 said the country has a projected growth rate of 16.3% during the four-year period 2018 to 2021.
With a gross domestic product size of $3.63 billion, a growth rate of 4.1% in 2018 and 4.6% in 2019, Guyana's economy is expected to grow by 33.5% and 22.9% in 2020 and 2021, respectively. The report stated further that with a per capita income of $5,194, Guyana is home to fertile agricultural lands and abundant natural resources. Gold, bauxite, sugar, rice, timber, and shrimp are among our leading exports. In 2000, the U.S. Geological Survey identified the Guyana-Suriname Basin as the second highest resource potential among unexplored basins in the world. ExxonMobil Guyana has made 13 discoveries since 2015 and plans to begin producing up to 120,000 barrels of oil per day from the Liza Phase 1 development in early 2020. Guyana is projected to be among the world's largest per capita oil producers by 2025. NASDAQ's report follows an International Monetary Fund report which projected a 4.4% growth in Guyana's economy in 2019. The report also indicated that this trend would stay the course once driven by continued strength in the construction and services sector ahead of oil production in 2020. It also revealed that inflation remained steady at 1.6% at the end of 2018 on the back of stable food prices and exchange rates. For InfoHub, Hannah Arkan.
The Caribbean Court of Justice on Monday heard oral submissions in the consequential orders of their June 18 ruling. President Adrian Saunders ordered that the court will now receive written submissions from the principal parties. These are to be submitted by July 1.
Attorney General and Minister of Legal Affairs Basil Williams today reiterated that President David Granger is prepared to set a date for national and regional elections once he is duly advised by the Guyana Elections Commission. The head of state is also awaiting word from Leader of the Opposition Barta Jagdeo on the way forward, following the June 18 ruling of the Caribbean Court of Justice.
The President has already invited him. He's waiting on the Leader of the Opposition.
But outside of that, to prompt a faster meeting, what can the government do?
Oh, well, I'm sure we'll be able to address that. But the Leader of the Opposition would know that the world is waiting on him to respond to the President.
The Attorney General was addressing the CCJ panel led by President Adrian Saunders from the Appellate Court in Georgetown. The CCJ met for the post-judgment hearing on consequential orders on two sets of cases from Guyana, for which judgments were delivered last Tuesday. According to the Attorney General, under Guyana's electoral laws, in order to create a new list of electors and the National Register of Registrants, house-to-house visits must be pursued. He said almost $500 million have already been spent in preparing for house-to-house registration by GCOM. The Attorney General reported that the head of state had already written to the leader of the opposition, inviting him to a meeting, but is yet to hear from him. He reiterated that the president and government shall remain.
We believe on 1067, it takes precedence over 1066. 6 doesn't have any timelines. And so 7 governs 1066. And the president, the government, the cabinet should remain.
What about...
And the president does not leave until an election is held and a new president is sworn in.
Meanwhile, President Saunders requested written submissions from all parties by Monday, July 1. He said the court will seek to hand down a decision on submissions on or before July 12, during which time he encouraged that the head of state and opposition leader meet. Reporting for InfoHub, Alexis Rodney.
President David Granger has invited opposition leader Barry Jagdeo to meet with him to discuss the current political situation in Guyana, resulting from the June 18 decision of the Caribbean Court of Justice. The two are expected to meet at the Ministry of the Presidency to discuss the consequential order heard by the CCJ. In a letter dated Thursday, June 20, Director General of the Ministry of the Presidency, Joseph Harmon, made the correspondence on behalf of the President. The Director General said that the letter serves to demonstrate President Granger's commitment to engagement and dialogue with the opposition leader in the interest of the development of Guyana. Meanwhile, young people are continuing their call for the prompt start of house-to-house registration.
Odell Briggs is a student at the Government Technical Institute and a prospective first-time voter who turns 18 years old in August. The student, along with other young people, shared their thoughts on the electoral process.
Election should be fair that everybody should be able to vote who is alive and eligible to vote.
I think that election should be fair because as Guyanese, we should be afforded with the right to vote for who we think is more capable to run our country.
Most definitely elections should be fair and everyone should get a fair chance of voting.
I think elections in our country should be fair, and a fair election to me is having everyone to vote.
They believe that no Guyanese should be disenfranchised.
Me, I wouldn't like if nobody deny my right to vote, right? I gotta say everybody have a right to vote. Right, so, and if I like to vote for the party that I like, I would like to vote for that party.
I think that that would be really unfair and that they should do the house-to-house registration so that they will be given their rights to vote. That's just messed up. I would feel like I'm being robbed of my rights to choose a government or to choose our leader, because being a Guyanese, I should be given that right.
The individuals also shared their thoughts on the creation of a new voters list.
I would support there being a new list, and I would support there being a new list because me and others would be on that list and would get to vote.
I would, because personally for me, I have persons that died in my family that names would be on the old list, and that would be wrong, you know. And I have persons that just turned 18 that will be denied their right to vote if there isn't a new list.
Most definitely I will support it because I would like to exercise my right to vote in order to make this country a better place.
I would support it, yeah, the new list, if the thousands of people that aren't voting, that aren't able to vote, if they could be able to vote, I would support that.
Shaquille Bourne for InfoHub.
On Tuesday, more young people continued their call for free and fair electoral processes.
At 17 years old, Elijah Henry, a prospective first-time voter, was one of the several youth who said that every person should be allowed to vote should they choose to do so. He and other youths explained that it would not be fair if anyone was left off of the official list of voters.
Of course it's wrong. It's a big wrong, so should just try to correct it and do what's right.
It should be fair. And a fair election should be basically everybody is allowed to have a right to vote, basically.
I think there should be a new list. So the reason being that Remember, there are persons on the list that are deceased and whatever, and that would be unfair. So I think they should just get a new list.
Yes, I would support the new list. I would support it mainly because I would be able to vote, and a lot of other young people would be able to vote.
Well, I would support it because it gives me the right to vote. I'll be able to choose who I see fit to run this country and help me and the next generation coming up.
Natisha Isaacs for InfoHub.
Major news reported on Wednesday in the security sector as Guyana is now equipped to conduct human identification using DNA analysis following the commissioning of DNA identification equipment at the Guyana Forensic Science Laboratory.
The new equipment will offer testing in DNA direct comparison or matching evidence to criminal suspects, paternity and family mapping. Testing samples include semen, vaginal fluid, hair with root, blood and touch DNA. Another equipment, the scanning electron microscope, was also introduced to Guyana for the first time. This will be used for gunshot residue testing. Together, the two pieces of equipment cost $97 million. Minister of Public Security Kemraj Ramjatan said this period in Guyana's history will be remarkable for its movement away from the simple methods into scientific detection.
DNA testing is needed in Guyana because it serves as that investigative tool, as I just mentioned. And of course, they identify the perpetrator. It will also resolve a number of those cases that have since now been unresolved. And cases of those nature would include murder, rape, and body parts found that have been kept.
Director of the Guyana Forensic Lab, Delon France, said with such advancements, criminal and forensic investigation has moved up another level and will bring adjudication to more criminal cases with the passage of time.
As the only forensic laboratory in Guyana, we will continue to advance our skills and technology to meet the growing needs of the diverse criminal enterprise, not only nationally, but internationally as we collaborate on the various treaties and agreements to combat national and international crimes.
Commissioned back in 2014, the Forensic Science Laboratory was fitted with 4 analytical departments. The toxicology documents traced evidence and chemistry and non-analytical departments. However, it was until February 2017 that the testing of samples from law enforcement agencies commenced. Reporting for InfoHub, Alexis Rodney.
In oil and gas news, the Stennis 4th Class 3 drill ship arrived in Guyana and will soon embark on a drill campaign at the Orange block, where UK-based Tullow Oil and its co-venture partners are optimistic of striking crude oil. According to the local oil and gas news site Oil Now, Tullow Oil will drill the Jethro-1 prospect, which is expected to be followed by a second well, the Joe prospect, a few kilometers away. The 2 wells are not contingent and will be drilled immediately, one after the other. Junior partner Eco Atlantic Oil and Gas has said that the Orange block could contain as much as 4 billion barrels of recoverable oil. Orange is located next to the prolific Stabroek block, where U.S. major oil company ExxonMobil has already found more than 5.5 billion barrels of crude. Still in oil and gas, at the ceremony held recently at the Keppel shipyard in Singapore, First Lady Sandra Granger commissioned the first oil production vessel, the Lisa Destiny, which will be placed in Guyana.
The ceremony was held on Saturday at the Keppel shipyard in Singapore, and the First Lady, in her remarks, recognized the importance of this project and industry to Guyana.
I think it has been a fitting name for our country because, as Mr. Mallon said, we are talking about destiny, we're talking about long-term, and we are talking about what I believe is vision. Not only the production, but also the process and what comes behind it. I hope that this ship will bring to us, the people of Guyana, not only prosperity in the physical sense, but greater cohesion, greater development, and of course, the sustainability of our country and our people and culture that we all desire.
In keeping with tradition and naming protocols, the dedication is performed by a woman who is termed the godmother of the vessel to bestow good luck and divine protection over the ship and all those who sail on board. Also accompanying the First Lady was Director of the Department of Energy, Dr. Mark Bino. According to online news agency Oil Now, ExxonMobil's upstream president, Liam Malone, acknowledged the correlation between the name of the floating production storage and offloading vessel, the Liza Destiny, and ExxonMobil's intent to partner with Guyana over the long term. He said it will provide value to Guyana and ExxonMobil. It was highlighted that Liza Phase 1 is an international project with significant local participation with more than 1,000 Guyanese involved. This venture involves completion of the FPSO and 4 subsea drill centers with 17 wells. The Oil Now report also noted that the dedication ceremony marks the final stage for the Liza Destiny as it prepares to sail to Guyana next month. Final work is being completed and several checks will be performed over the next few weeks. The Liza Destiny has a production capacity of up to 120,000 barrels of oil per day and an overall storage volume of 1.6 million barrels. During normal operations, there will be at least 80 persons living and working on board the vessel. The Liza Destiny is expected to arrive in Guyana in September. For InfoHub, Anara Khan.
President David Granger on Tuesday met with former chairman of the Guyana Elections Commission, Justice retired James Patterson, who has since demitted office. The president expressed his appreciation to Justice Patterson for his service over the past 20 months. The former GCOM chair resigned on Monday, June 24, thereby rendering the post vacant. The decision by the former GCOM chair to demit office is in keeping with the ruling of the Caribbean Court of Justice that the appointment was flawed and thereby unconstitutional. The government of Guyana reiterates its acceptance of the CCJ ruling on June 18. Justice Patterson was appointed as GCOM chair in October 2017. Meanwhile, Minister of Public Security Kemraj Ramtatan believes that a consensual process between President David Granger and the opposition leader is an effective way of choosing a suitable chairman for the Guyana Elections Commission, GCOM.
Minister Ramtatan said the only way a consensus can be met is by doing exactly what the Caribbean Court of Justice have exerted. He was at the time responding to questions from members of the media on the best way forward in selecting a new GCOM chairman.
If they make a request that indeed the two leaders of the coalition government and the opposition must meet, they must meet. In relation to the elections chairman, both the leader of the opposition and the president must meet and work out the 6 names. So it is not as if the leader of the opposition could just go and put 6 names into the hands of the president. They must meet and they can deliberate on 6 names that are acceptable to the president. And from those 6, he could select one.
Minister Ramtatan said Justice Saunders, in his decision, made it crystal clear on the process going forward.
The consensual approach, in accordance with paragraph 10 of Justice Saunders, I think paragraph 10 of his decision, is how do you approach the question? And he says they must, and he bolded the word must, that they must meet and work out the 6 names together. And then, once it is acceptable to the president then selects one of the 6.
Minister Ramtatan said he believes it is a progressive move and one that should be adhered to by both parties. However, should that process fail, then the president will utilize the proviso. That is, Article 161(2) of the Constitution of Guyana, that allows for the appointment to be made unilaterally where the opposition leader fails to submit a list as provided for. Isaiah Braffett for InfoHub.
Prime Minister Moses Nagamutu says effective governance of the country is the most important focus of the coalition administration at this time. The Prime Minister was speaking on the Straight Up radio show hosted by Mark Benchcup on Monday evening.
The second lieutenants were officially presented with their instruments of commission at a ceremony held at the Buridi Benab State House. President David Granger reminded the new officers that their commissions are not merely certificates to mark the successful completion of a training course. They constitute the lawful license for them to exercise leadership and stewardship.
An officer's commission demands trust, loyalty, and good conduct. It requires each officer to exercise dutiful diligence and discipline in the discharge of his or her duties, and to demonstrate obedience to their superiors. Officers are challenged to uphold the motto of the Colonel Brigadier Officer Cadet School, I serve, Guyana. Officers are required by their conduct to exemplify the school's maxims of loyalty, honesty, worth, courage, discipline, and steadfastness.
Of the 52 standard and reserve officers, 7 were women. The ranks graduated with an associate's degree in general studies from the University of Guyana. Top students of the officers' course, Jehu West, thanked the president for reminding them to practice the values and standards of the Guyana Defense Force.
Let me once again say thanks, Your Excellency, on behalf of the Chief of Staff and all officers present, for your interesting and inspiring discourse, which has provided us with a sense of intellectual enrichment and the stimulation for effectively performing our duties in support of the trust for total national defense.
West enlisted in Guyana Defense Force in June 2017 with an interest in engineering and medicine. He excelled in the 4 main competency skills while completing the course. Sneaker Thorne, InfoHub.
Prime Minister Moses Nagamutu says effective governance of the country is the most important focus of the coalition administration at this time. The Prime Minister was speaking on the Straight Up radio show hosted by Mark Benchcup on Monday evening.
What is important at this stage is not to focus on who is going to be who in the next election. What is important is to be able now to carry the baton of struggle. All of us have to put our shoulders to the wheel to ensure that the coalition is electable and can win the next election with a larger majority.
Prime Minister Moses Nagamutu speaking during a radio show hosted by Mark Benchcup. The Prime Minister also touched on the Alliance for Change internal elections.
It leaves me as the Prime Minister of Guyana, as the Prime Minister of all the people of Guyana, and the Prime Minister in the APNU-AFC coalition. I have never been an AFC Prime Minister. I have been an AFC candidate.
PM Nagamutu explained that the coalition government is on a good footing. It has done well over these last 4 years, and it has a credible record of achievement.
I would say, having worked on the 5 presidents now, and having been in politics for 58 years, this is the best government we have had for a first term. This government has done well to excite the appetite of the Guyanese people. And I'm sure given a credible electoral process, we will win the election with an overwhelming majority, with a landslide majority at the next polls.
Infrastructural development, better education, monitoring of our borders, and overall delivery of a better life for all citizens were just a few of the achievements the PM listed. For InfoHub, Rebecca Ganesh.
51 public servants representing several ministries, departments, and agencies were recognized for their years of service to the government and the country. They were presented with awards at the ceremony held at the Buridi Benab State House earlier in the week.
During her remarks, Minister of Public Service Tabitha Sarabohali expressed appreciation for the dedication shown by the public servants over the years.
We thought it fitting to recognize those persons who stuck the course. Many of you have worked through several administrations. This act of service shows a love for the people of Guyana and a recognition by yourself of the integral role played by public servants in the development process of your country. To those who have reached the age of retirement but stayed on your jobs, we are grateful, and on this occasion, I implore you to share that institutional knowledge with young public servants who have a teachable spirit.
She reminded them that public service must be more than doing a job efficiently and honestly. It must be a complete dedication to the people and to the nation, As such, the Public Service Minister reiterated the government's commitment to the development of the public service sector.
And in keeping with this ideology, I promise that as your minister, and in keeping with the commitment of the government of Guyana, we will together move the public service from where it is currently to a position of respect and eminence. A public service you will continue to be proud to be a part of, delivering high-quality, efficient, responsive service worthy of respect and deserving of reward.
The list of awardees comprised of public servants who dedicated their time and efforts to the development of Guyana, with some of them serving for almost 5 decades. Also present at the event was Minister of State Dawn Hastings Williams. For InfoHub, Anara Khan.
To preserve the indigenous languages, the Ministry of Indigenous Peoples Affairs has completed the Arikuna alphabet book and will be printing 500 copies in time for Heritage Month 2019.
The formulation of the Arikuna alphabet book forms part of the government's effort to revive indigenous languages across the country. Minister within the Ministry of Indigenous Peoples Affairs, Valerie Garrido-Lowe, explained that the book will be launched on September 10.
It's finished yesterday. The Tushao brought it, and the illustrations look quite good. So that is finished. We will be printing 500 copies of that, which we want to launch on Stephen Campbell's Day on September the 10th.
The Arikuna alphabet has 22 letters and not 26 as is customary in the English alphabet. Both indigenous elders and children were involved in the formulation process.
Let's say A. A is for agouti. The children would draw the agouti, and the best agouti. You know, they had a whole 22 drawings there, so we chose the best to put on in this book.
The completion of the publication coincides with the United Nations International Year of Indigenous Languages, which focuses attention on the risk confronting indigenous languages across the globe. This year, the government allocated the sum of $36 million to promote Guyana's 9 indigenous languages. Apart from the alphabet, a handbook of common indigenous phrases with English translation, a short story handbook, and a calendar with paintings depicting the indigenous culture will be published. Snegathorn for InfoHub.
More great news. Approximately 20 families will soon possess homes of their own following a partnership between the Central Housing and Planning Authority and Food for the Poor Guyana Incorporated to fund the construction of houses. The families are among the group being relocated from the Broad and Lombard Streets squatting area.
The homes constructed in this first phase are expected to be completed by November 2019. The families that will be relocated to Prospect upon the completion of the homes were prioritized based on households with young children, especially those who are attending school. Food for the Poor will be providing $12 million, while CHMPA will provide $19 million towards the project.
Food for the Poor will be financing the cost for that land at $58,000 for each parcel, as well as we will be paying the conveyance fee for the transports at $8,000 each. So we're making sure that things are, we're making it very easy for the Broad Street residents.
Minister within the Ministry of Communities with responsibility for housing, Annette Ferguson, noted that this step is taken to address a very serious housing issue, and it moves the ball closer to the goalpost. It is part of the government's continued thrust to ensure every Guyanese is provided with affordable and suitable housing. The minister added that through this project, 2 components of President David Granger's 4 pillars of housing have been realized. These are reorientation and regularization.
In reorientation, priority is given to meeting the needs to the most vulnerable, low-income public servants desirous of becoming first-time homeowners. Through regularization, the President is determined to put an end to shanties, slums, and squatter settlements.
In July 2017, a court order was issued in favor of the De Freitas and Gonzalves Company, ordering more than 140 persons to vacate the lot 17 to 18 Broad and Lombard Streets property. This has prompted the CHMPA to seek suitable housing solutions for the citizens. For InfoHub, Delicia Haynes.
For Restaurant Week, many persons took the opportunity to dine out and cash in on the delicious menus at the participating restaurants. Let's take a look.
Restaurant Week 2019 began on June 21 and will run until June 30. Today we visited several restaurants around the city to get a glimpse of what's happening, starting at the Hartmanston Lodge.
Lisa McIntyre is the events coordinator. She says Restaurant Weeks gives businesses a boost and let people know that there are fine dining places apart from the popular locations.
Fortunately, we were able to, for the first 2 days, we were booked out. We had the pleasure of accommodating up to 80 persons for lunch and 70 in the evening for dinner. And our reservations are climbing as of recently, and I guess it's because of the marketing strategy by TAG this year. We were able to grab a lot of persons that are interested.
Over at OMG and Arawak Steakhouse on Sheriff Street, we spoke with manager Mr. Andrew James, who said customers have been responding well.
Guyana Restaurant Week is the perfect time to dine in style, to satisfy your appetite with our gourmet meals and our fine wines. We always look forward to Restaurant Week because it's a time when customers respond and our numbers go up. And it's a perfect time, you know, to bring out the family. And we encourage people to bring out the family and to come out and have a good time here with us.
One customer, Father Terence Montrose, is a long-time customer of the Arawak Steakhouse.
This is my restaurant of choice. It's quick, it's easy, and it's delicious. The decor is very good, and it's very relaxing, and you can spend hours here. But because of work, you have to leave after a short time. But I like it very, very relaxing here, and I always enjoy it when I come here.
Guyana Restaurant Week is an initiative of the Tourism and Hospitality Association of Guyana and is supported by the Guyana Tourism Authority. According to GTA's director, Brian Mullis, the initiative helps to elevate the food and service quality of local restaurateurs. It helps them to grow their businesses and provide the public with exceptional dining experiences. The result is raising the global profile of Guyana's culinary offerings. For Restaurant Week, you can also enter a contest and win prizes by snapping a selfie with your food while dining at participating restaurants and post the images to your timeline with the hashtag #OfficialGRW and tag the restaurants where you took the photos. Reporting for InfoHub, Natasha Smith.
And from styling her classmates' hair at school to now owning her own hair salon. On this week's Small Business Focus, we feature Odessa Wills.
From since going to school, I always with the teacher here, the children here at school. So when I came out of school, this was something I always wanted to do. So I went ahead and pursued it.
Odessa Wills has been a hairdresser for more than 18 years. Prior to starting her own business, she worked for a larger salon.
There are always challenges when you now start a business because first of all, you wouldn't have all the clients that you want at the first time. So months is gonna pass and you're not gonna make what you're expecting to make, but you have to keep going in order to build your clientele and treat your clients nice.
Currently, Odessa's business is doing well. She has a long list of clients, and because of her location on Orange Walk, she often gets walk-in customers.
I'm specializing in making wigs, frontal install, closure, short style, and eyelashes.
Odessa Wills has many happy customers and she takes pride in that. She always works on exposing herself to new trends and skills to meet the unique needs of her customers. This, she noted, gives her an edge over her competitors in the industry.
Most hairdressers, I would say, if you want to be on the competitive part of it, you have to upgrade. You have to do new stuff.
She plans to expand in the future, and she also recently launched a new wig collection line.
I have some new stuff to add to the salon because only last Monday I add my wig collection, so you can now have factory-made wigs right here in Guyana. You don't have to go online anymore to purchase it. You can just contact me, and if you're overseas, we ship with DHL or FedEx, so you can have your wigs in 3 days.
Odessa Wills can be contacted on telephone numbers 592-661-3202, on Facebook at Odessa Wills Brazilian Hair Guyana, or Instagram at Odessa Beauty Salon. She is also located on Orange Walk border opposite Bounty Supermarket.
For the hairdressers out there, I wish you guys good luck on whatever you're doing. And for the ones who now starting, it's not easy. Some days you're going to make money, some days you're not going to. But you have to be consistent in any business you're doing.
Reporting for InfoHub, Natasha Smith.
This has been InfoHub Recap. Remember to subscribe to our website for more stories and follow us on our social media platforms. Have a safe and enjoyable weekend. Goodbye.